And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for October 16th. The only surviving tropical cyclones are in the eastern hemisphere today, with 2 tropical depressions, one on the western coast of India and one Ophelia named by the Philippines, which is moving through the South China Sea and will impact Vietnam with possibly more heavy rainfall and could become a tropical storm. Well, looking at the Atlantic, day 137 of the year so far, 3 areas of interest marked here, all at low chances right now, but a 30% chance out at sea for an area that could develop. Those chances are likely to rise. Also on the 20% there in the Caribbean Sea towards the 5-day period, that will probably have its chances hiked up there. Day 154 in the Eastern Pacific, and another drab day in this basin where no systems are active at this point. Not even the remnants of Norbert. It's all gone by now, and the Eastern Pacific is struggling. The Western Pacific then, you can see Ophelia moving along there. The remnants of Chanhom are still alive. A 40% chance now in the Philippine Sea, something headed towards the Philippines, perhaps maybe northern Luzon, and a 20% chance potentially for the Mariana Islands. And in the Indian Ocean, now a 40% chance for the southern Indian Ocean system, with ASCAT finding decent wind radials around the system and at least half a circulation, so keep watching that one very closely. The North Atlantic looks like this today. You can see a lot of cloud, a lot of areas that are trying to develop, but it really is a big mess across the whole basin really right now. Nothing that's looking favourable just at the moment, but we will probably see more activity in the next 5 or 6 days, maybe sooner. Some models suggesting it could be 2 or 3 days before that central Atlantic system decides to form. The Eastern Pacific then, not even a hope of anything forming anytime soon, which is obviously a good thing in this basin, especially in October, this time of year. Any system that forms is likely to be off the coast of Mexico, and sometimes they can deliver significant impacts, but nothing on the radar there. The Western Pacific then, you can see the depression there in the South China Sea, not looking very good, it has to be said, very broad at this point. A disturbance there near Yap, that will be the disturbance that will affect the Philippines, and behind it another area well towards the southeast of Guam, which will possibly then move through the Marianas. The South Pacific looking fairly quiet, frontal system there extending all the way from Papua New Guinea right the way through to New Caledonia and beyond. Fiji getting some rainfall there too. Indian Ocean, you can see that depression still looking good, high convection, and on the very bottom of your screen that 40% chance, which is not looking too bad on satellite, needs a little bit more rotation though if it's going to convince us there. Sea surface temperatures then, as I've said, on the western coast of Mexico, the Pacific coast, still 30 degrees plus. You can often get late season hurricanes that can do significant damage. A few recent examples in the Atlantic. Still warm sea surface temperatures. The Caribbean Sea is still an area of much concern. 29 to 30 degrees Celsius hasn't been decreased really at all since from Delta and out towards the Gulf Stream, still pulling 28 degrees there as well. The North Indian Ocean also fairly warm, where that tropical depression is emerging, around 28 degrees, where that invest is fairly good conditions too if it stays at low latitude, 26 to 27 degrees at least. And in the Western Pacific, still building temperatures there in the Philippine Sea. If there is going to be a glut of typhoon activity, it's going to be in the next 4 weeks, probably in the Western Pacific. We could see some big activity towards the end of the month, but we'll see. 30 degrees plus, commonplace in the Philippine Sea. Sea surface temperature anomalies for the time of year. The Western Pacific, much above average generally. The Eastern Pacific, below average, particularly in the equatorial region for the La Nina, but warmer waters in the subtropics, it has to be said. The Atlantic, generally above average with a few cool spots there. Most crucially, the Northern Gulf, still a little bit cooler now. On October 16th, 2017, Hurricane Ophelia was approaching the coast of Ireland as a Category 1. It turned post-tropical in a couple of hours from now. Kanun was moving through Hainan, and Tropical Storm Lan had just formed in the Western Pacific. Ophelia, of course, which reached Category 3 status east of the Azores, would you believe, and then affected the western coast of Ireland and also exacerbated conditions on the European continent. Well, the next name in an even crazier season, 2020, is Epsilon in the Atlantic hurricane season. In the Eastern Pacific, the next name is Odalis. The Central Pacific's next name, which we've been waiting for all year, is Hone. In the West Pac, we'll be waiting now for Sordell, followed by Malawi. The North Indian Ocean's next name is Gati, could still result from that depression. We'll see. And in the Southern Hemisphere, if we do have a rude awakening in the South Indian Ocean, the first name on the Southwest Indian Ocean list is Alicia. In the Australian region, it would be Imogen. And in the South Pacific, we're waiting for Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.